Hey everyone. All right, so let's go to the slides. Okay, so today, first I'm going to share like what I'm going to talk about here. I'm Vijay. I'm one of the co-founders of Fileverse, and today I'm going to talk about the evolution of the internet that has taken place in the past couple of months, and it is also going at a breakneck pace, and things have evolved much more than what we anticipated. Like you can see, the first line says that humans are no longer using the apps that you guys have built, right? And it's also, there is a different kind of person that is using the app that's not you and me. It's someone else. You might have guessed by the name. It's agents. And what they can do is very wide in terms of the range of things that they can do. They can read different emails of yours. They can take actions on the behalf of you. They can do things that like you would take a lot longer to actually come up with, to do that in a go and like one-shot it, right? So this assumption that we had that there will be a human on both ends of the internet is void. It's invalid now. So what do we do next? Like before I go and explain that, I would like to tell a bit about Fileverse and what we do and like why do we get excited to come to work, right? So until 2010, there was this thing which is like 1/3 of the internet was peer-to-peer. But that has changed. And today, us all included, and we trust these 3 companies to handle, manage, save, and allow us to share our data with others. What are the things that are included in the data? You can think from the like emails to docs to sheets to files. Everything that you have as a digital footprint is something that these companies store, share, and allow access to you. These platforms put at risks people's creativity and also their privacy and also their digital freedom. If you share something and that doesn't agree with the rules that are created by these walled garden companies, you can be kicked off from those things. And what are we doing? Like we are a group of small, like we're a very small team, and everyone has a different X factor in the team. And what are we doing is we are building an alternate to that. And we're building open protocols using public networks versus the old centralized internet that we all see and use. But today, it's not about Fileverse. It's about the change or a critical change that's happening on the web. And I'm going to talk about those in the next slide. 1 second. Yes. So, internet has a new kind of user, and it's not you and me, it's agents. The web, when initially was thought about, it was thought about for people, and bots were treated as spams. And that is why you have CAPTCHAs everywhere on any website that you see that you have to prove that you're human by clicking a button, right? Which is insane. But that baseline has changed, and agents are now first-class users, and they can do things on behalf of you. They can make API calls, they can read documents of yours, they can send email to someone on a button click. They're not just a feature, they're a new class of users. And most apps, including yours, are not designed for them. I'm going to highlight in the talk that I have the different principles that we thought about when we were building our feature like API access in the privacy-first product called ddocs.new. Next slide. Yes. Now, why is it different from the previous automations that have happened on the web, right? Meaning you have seen different frameworks that have come up for bots. You have seen different frameworks that have come up for UI development and all of these things, auth and everything included. But why is it different? Is they have gotten this new capability, like basically a code that you write on the web has gotten a new capability to be autonomous and make decisions That was not possible in the bots. Earlier, when you were writing bots, you had to be rule-based and like you just had to rely on the compute power, right? But now they can take decisions such as testing your app, making sure that whatever they are doing is working and everything else. Now, but it also comes with the risks, right? Meaning, if something can run 1,000 or like 1,000,000 times faster than you, they can do a lot of damage if they're compromised. And these agents, they don't need break, they don't slow down, they can ingest your entire account and create a summary out of it. That's a boon, but also a threat, right? So I'm going to share in the next slide the problem with how we build today. There is a problem with how we build today. The current default that each of us follow right now is you have an app, you want to add an agent support to that app. What you do is like you share the entire account's access. Like you can take any company that you have in mind. You can take Figma, for example, all of these things. What they do is like they enable one-shot access to your agent, and entire account is now controlled by that bot, right, or that agent. But this is wrong. And we all, like whoever is a developer knows this by heart, that this is not the right pattern. But this hasn't been like explained very well or like, defined very well as a problem. So, and this is a note for anybody that is building tomorrow, is don't share the entire access of, like don't expect your users to share the entire access of their accounts. Ask them to only share what is the relevant data. I'll share the principles in the next slide, but, and this is the change that we need to think about when we are thinking about building with agents. Now, these are the 4 patterns that we were able to notice in all the different kind of use cases that were there. So basically, first, you need to make sure that you give selective access. Since it can make sense of any amount of data, you make sure that you give it targeted access. That's the first thing. Second is bake in the kill switch on the admin level, meaning whenever the agent goes rogue or you don't agree with the action of the agent, you should be able to press a button and stop that agent from working any further. You should have verifiable logs, meaning whatever the agent actions are, they are recorded and they cannot be tampered with by the agent itself. Then you also need to have versioning. Why the versioning is because let's say there is a damage that has been done by an agent, you should be able to roll back to the previous state. And that is why this is an important parameter to keep in mind. And it should be a full account state versioning. Now, let me show you that how we use these principles in building our APIs. And it's not just theoretical, right? Next slide, please. Yes. So what we built. So basically, we created the sealed space inside the Fileverse account. And this sealed space comes with like the scoped API key access, which can only read and write data from here. And it has full auditable locks and can be revoked at any time. So all the 4 principles, as you can see, are applied in this. Next slide, please. So now this agent never touches your full account, okay? Why that is crucial is because as a human, you do changes and you do things, but you want to make sure that the agents can only see whatever it needs to, right? But not more. And this was also highlighted in the keynote talk by Vitalik as well earlier today. And the stack that we use SAFE, ERC4337, smart contracts, IPFS, and UCANs. You can read about this later on. I'll go to the next slide now. Yes. Now, while we were building this, there were some challenges that we had faced, right? And these were not trivial challenges. These were challenges like, how do you keep end-to-end encryption and make sure that the API gets access to the data that it needs? What we did is like we created an NPM package that was able to do encryption on the API boundary level, so that as soon as the data gets the API gets the data, it gets it into the encrypted format, and then everything gets stored on chain and pushed to the Fileverse ecosystem in general. And then this there was another challenge that we faced, and this was something that was funny and we found out later on, is when we built the NPM package, we had to also think about different runtimes where it can run and make sure that it is runtime agnostic. And with different type of crypto APIs that different platforms provide, it's not easy. Next slide. Yes. So another important thing is, like with end-to-end encryption, if you have API keys, you need to be able to rotate these API keys. And think about the challenge of like needing to rotate the API keys for an end-to-end encrypted ecosystem without losing access to the previous data that you have shared with the agent, right? Now, oops, can you go back? Yes. Another important thing is from the UX level, which is to be able to reduce the threshold from a technical user to a normal user. We had to work on one-time deploys to Cloudflare and Heroku. And all of these things were thought from the first, like from the user's perspective, right? Then, one of the biggest challenge, one of the, like you can say, side quests that we had to also think about when we were building this is, like you're doing encryption on different platforms. For example, you're doing it on the web level, you're doing it on the system level, and you want both of these things to be able to work together, right? And you want that whatever you have done, the changes that your agent has done, is also visible on the UI, and you are also able to continue doing edits on top of it if you need. So that was another thing that we had solved with the YJS plus Markdown compatibility. Next slide, please. Now, how am I using these APIs that I just told you about, or what are the different use cases that I have in mind? It's, for example, like I'm using Claude, and I have opened it into a repo. What I do is like I ask it to generate the documentation, or let's say the high-level overview of the repo, and give me a DDoc link, which is also a skill that we have created. You can find it on Clawbot or different platforms. You can just go to the npm package @fileverse/API as well. And what we do is like we generate the documentation, and the link is shared back, which can be shared with anyone that they want. Next slide, please. Yes. Another use case here is the Telegram, Clawbot, and DDocs. In this, what we are doing is like we have connected Clawbot with the Telegram, and whatever messages we are sending to the Clawbot on the Telegram, it's also doing those changes on the API level. Now, doing this is not that big of a task, but doing this in a way where you have the sealed space and you have the complete control of that sealed space without leaking access to the accounts and stuff like that, that's the difficult things in these. And we also try to reduce the level of technicality that the users need. Yeah. Now, the last use case that we have is letting agents collaborate. Now, in this, what we did is like we took the same MCP server, installed it on two different places. One is OpenAI and another is Claude, and asked them to draft a document that they work on together. And as you can see, they did it. Now let's go to the last slide, since I think my time is done. Next, please. Yeah. So here are the link to the slides. The slides go to Fileverse slides, not Google slides. And this is the Twitter link for you guys to follow if you want to know a bit about like how Fileverse works and what are the different things that we are releasing. Thank you.